All right, and welcome to the fourth YMCA of Wichita Falls podcast. Still don't have a name for it.
Well, but we made it to number 4.
We did make it to number 4. Another day of history.
So we're making history 2 times today. We're going to make history 2. One, guys, because we made it to number 4. So we didn't know if we were going to be called the One and Done podcast show, but we're to number 4, and so we're excited about it.
Now, we also have 2 guests with us, and we'll get to that because what we have today is a major announcement for the YMCA. So I want to do something a little different because people just tuning into this may not know who we are.
Okay.
All right. So I'm marketing director of the YMCA, Andrew Steinley.
Brandon Brown, president, CEO.
All right. And our 2 guests we've got.
Hi, I'm Noelle Filer, and I'm the Mission Advancement Director and Fundraiser.
Yeah.
And I'm Dennis Kennedy, a local CPA and head of the Capital Campaign Fund.
All right. And we do have some big news. We are...
And hey, let me tell them first. We're going to have fun today. So this is kick back, have fun. This is that's kind of how we've done it on the One and Done podcast show. But yeah, we got some big news. We've been talking about the last few podcasts, and today's going to be the day. Tonight's the night.
Tonight's the night.
Yeah.
Well, as of they watching it, it was last night, releasing it to the media. We can go ahead and show a little picture because the past couple of years they've been working on this. And it is a major, major expansion for the YMCA.
So what that is the last 3 years probably.
And I'll put it on the screen for everyone.
Dennis and myself and Noelle Filer have worked hard. Well, let me take that back. There's been a lot of people work really hard on this, and it wasn't just us 3. Certainly, there's been countless amount of people. But about 4 years ago, I went back. I think I was in the locker room with Dennis one day, and I said, he said, "Hey, Brandon, how's things going?" I said, "Things are going great," because we'd been growing. We grew our membership over 50%, something like that, and child care was growing, and programs were growing. But I mentioned to Dennis, I said, you know what? It's one of these days we're going to have a capital campaign, and because I felt like at the time we've kind of reached our limits on what we could do with what we had and what we could offer. So the rest is history. We started talking about it and kind of getting with our staff, and next thing you know, we have these 2, and we're raising money. So tell us a little bit about where we're at, what we're doing, and kind of what your role is in this whole thing, Noelle.
Well, today is a great day of excitement for us because this is kind of like giving birth to a child. I mean, we have been working on this project. It doesn't hurt quite as much, but we've been working on this project for such a long time. We're so excited because we have really 4 major elements in this new project. And those are, we're going to build a new state-of-the-art early childhood center for our early childhood children and our school-age kids. It's going to be amazing. It's going to have 8 early childhood classrooms, 2 rooms dedicated for our school-age kids, a youth library, which is just going to rock the world.
Yeah,
it's going to be so neat. Cafeteria, so our great teachers don't have to clean up spaghetti and then put the kids right down in the same spot.
Well, I think with all that
naps.
child care stuff, a lot of people don't know that we're in portable buildings with our child care at the Bartley branch.
Yeah, it's been...
I mean, we have our dedicated child care branch, but we have...
Those are temporary portable buildings.
Temporary.
that have been there for 30 years.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a big change.
They eat in there. They play in there. Everything is in those little tiny classrooms.
Yeah, and our teachers are just amazing working with the kids in those conditions. But and you know what, they make the best out of it. But we want to give both the staff and the kids better facilities. So that's one thing we're super excited about. The next thing is we're going to have an indoor soccer facility and multi-purpose facility, and that opens up so many possibilities for us. We know that there's such a demand for that, and we want to respond to
Speaking of that,
the needs.
we've got
Look
a
at
big
that.
picture.
Is that just a
Wow.
thing of beauty?
That's nice.
We know that this facility will be used constantly. The third thing is we're going to build a double gymnasium for our youth sports programs. So for all of those mamas and daddies and grandmas and grandpas that have been to basketball games and had to, be crowded in there and not got a seat, we are going to have a place for you.
Well, I'd say one thing about Bartley whenever they watch basketball is those parents that are in the gym, they are involved in the game. They're right there on the sidelines.
They're right there. And some things that we learned when we were interviewing folks, maybe had kids in the program 15, 20 years ago. They said, we did that back when we stood right there on the side. And I said, yeah, it's time for us to get a little bit better at that and be able to host. I think a lot of it has to do with safety too right now, though. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, we want to be safe.
You know, we're the family Y, and we want to make it more family friendly for
Right.
our families to come and be a part of those sports experiences.
You know, we need to think also about where we've come from. The Bartley branch, we call it the family branch, was built 35 years ago. And it's served its purpose. It's still a great facility, but it's old, it's small, it's outdated.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this for a long time. And today, we're going live today, is what
Yeah.
we would say, because
Yeah.
we've been behind the scenes raising our lead gifts, which we had to have. And we have so many people from the media saying what's happened, they heard about it. And so it's time to announce and maybe even break ground later this year. I think
Yeah.
it's such a shot in the arm for Wichita Falls. I mean, this is something we've all been dying for. We've been thinking, we've been sending our kids out to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Oklahoma City to these what do we call the
Well, just
League-
other
leagues.
other
elite leagues,
and-
and we want to bring them here. And I think we can do that.
And
I
it's
think
time for Wichita Falls to have that.
It is.
Yeah.
We've always thought maybe we're too small to have what all the big. We're not. We
No.
will give our kids what they deserve.
Yeah.
right quality of life. You know, that's what it's all about.
And it's cool because people are asking what these facilities are going to look like. So they can go to our website. We're going to have a capital campaign page ready for it, so they can take a look at all these pictures. Or we're going to have these big renderings up at different places around the Y, big banners up. And people just don't. They see it for the first time. They're like, this doesn't look like anything that Wichita Falls could have, because they're incredible. I mean, our architects and our builders are going to do an amazing job.
You know, one thing that we've always prided ourselves on is really responding to community need.
Yeah.
And we've done, you know, market studies. We have polled our own parents and program participants, and we know that this is something that our community needs, and we are so excited because it will really, like Brandon said, add to a quality of life.
Yeah.
You know, there was one other piece of this puzzle that we didn't mention a while ago.
Absolutely,
We stopped
and
real
it is
quick.
just going to be
Oh,
such an exciting piece, and
forgot
that is
about
we're going to build a new state-of-the-art gymnastics center.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Joe Cronin, who, by the way, just recently was named the American Gymnastics Association's Coach of the Year
Wow.
for the state of Texas,
Right.
and he leads that program.
Way to go, Joe.
It
Good
is going to
job.
be such a fun facility. Really, Brandon, the staff's going to want to go over there and play.
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
You know?
Well, so it's going to accomplish a couple of things. One, obviously, better facilities, better resources, better we can
Equipment,
coach
yeah.
better, we can teach better. So many resources that are going to be available. But and then also what it does is it takes all the programs that we currently have in the current facility, kind of pulls them out and puts them in a special area. So
Right.
we can kind of remodel and redesign the way our branch is built now. You know, it was built in the 80s, and it was not built for program basketball or dance or gymnastics, things like that. So
Right.
it is it's really going to help us out to really give the members what they need in the way of health and wellness. So it's
Yeah.
going to be fun.
You know, also, and Dennis jumped right in, but also we're going to build a new pool house. So all of our patrons that come in the summer to go to the pool
Yeah.
won't have to go through the main entrance. They'll have their own locker rooms, changing areas, and kiddie pools coming.
Yeah. And it's going to be a little more enclosed, because what they're doing is, you know, it's open to a chain link fence right now. It's going to be encased in that building. And I've been there in the summer when those kids are running through in towels, and it just gets hectic in those
Yeah.
hallways and slippery and everything else, and makes it a lot dirtier. So having that separate pool entrance is going to be nice.
And I think what we fail to sometimes think about is what we give these kids in our youth sports. It's not all about youth sports. We've got the early childhood
You bet.
development. We've got the seniors in there. You know, I think if you think about the YMCA, and we were first built here in the 40s, with the first YMCA built after
Right.
World War II. And what we have prided ourselves in doing is changing with the environment. Whatever Wichita Falls needs, that's what we were going to be.
Yeah.
You know, we got into child care here probably 20 years ago, because that's what everybody was hammering about us about. So we got into it. And I think what you're going to find right now is what we're going to have for you. Everybody's going to be proud of. And it's not just for the youth, and it's not just it's for the community. It's for our high schools to use. It's for it's a Wichita Falls project we can all be proud of.
Right. So we didn't say enough probably about Dennis from the get-go. We did mention that he's a volunteer. So, you know, all of us are getting paid for this. You know, we love doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
But there's one man in the room that has done this strictly as a volunteer. And not only this campaign, Dennis has had his, has given to this YMCA for many, many, many years. I've seen going through some old, I don't want to say how old they were, but some old black and white pictures. And that, I kind of just told on him, didn't I? But there was pictures of Dennis running in the track, or on the track at the downtown Y years and years ago. So he's played a big part about it. But Dennis, what role do you play, and what made you decide to help us do this?
You know, I've had my relationship with the YMCA goes back to Bill Bartley. I mean, and what we've seen coming forward, and it's real hard to get away from something you just truly love. I find nothing with the YMCA that I can't be proud of. And I think that as a community person, I think that our youth is always what I try to do something for. And I don't think you thank a guy like, don't thank me for doing something I should do anyway. Okay,
Right.
That's just part of it. But I am so excited about the excitement this thing is built. When we've gone to these lead people and the foundations, and they just couldn't be more supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got some big dollars to raise, and it's an uphill battle, but we'll get there.
Well, and I want to. Dennis is very modest. He has been. Are we
No,
still
you're
live?
good.
Okay. I say Dennis is modest, but he has been just an absolute godsend to this campaign and to the YMCA. He just gives 100% all the time, and I'm telling you, one of the great joys of working on this project has been seeing the outpouring of support
Yeah.
from great people in our community. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really,
yeah.
really humbling
Well-
to have him on board with us.
Well, let's talk about that. So we have, over the last year, we've gone out and had some meetings, and so tell us kind of where we're at. You know, a lot of the times, you know, when you go forward and you announce this to the public, if we would have came out and said, "Hey, we're fixing to have this campaign," and before we'd even raised any dollars, they'd have probably looked at us and said, because I know what Dennis did. You know, let me tell you one quick story what Dennis did. When we were looking for a chairman, and I pinpointed him early on, even before he knew he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I went and pitched the project. We had that picture. You actually held it up, the big exterior. And so we had these renderings, and we went into Dennis's office, and here's our plan, here's our project, and oh, by the way, and I gave him the price tag on it. He kind of sit there, and I walked out, and I said, well, I don't know how that's going to go. Well, didn't hear from him for 24 hours. Then about 48 hours, he called me back 48 hours later, said, well, I'm on board for the project. I'm ready to go. It took him 2 days to kind of swallow it to see what it was. But, you know, the price tag up front it's big, but then you think about what all we're able to provide, how many
Right.
lives we impact, and from the youth to older adults, and how many years since. So if there's been an organization in the community since 1948, 44 actually, and then built the downtown Y in 48, so we're as relevant to our community now as we were, or as we ever been. We're the largest membership that we've ever had, program providers for youth sports, and but tell us about the price tag, and tell us where we're at with
Okay.
this.
Well, right now we're working on phase 1 of this project, and phase 1 includes all of the new construction that we've just talked about,
Right.
and that's $13.5 million. I'm very, very excited to say that we are just knocking on the door of $11 million, and we're still hopeful for some additional foundation support. And so we just need the public to jump in and help us finish that. We can see it. We are going to make this happen, but phase 2 will follow, immediately after phase 1 is done. Phase 2 then will include renovations of all 4 facilities. But right now our focus is finishing phase 1,
Right.
and with just a little more help, we can get there.
Yeah.
$11 million. So see, that's where, you know, there's
We're
the
almost there.
community. Yeah.
We need that community to help donate, and there's places to do that. We have it up on the YMCA website.
Absolutely. And you know what? We're going to have a wall of stars incentive. So
Yeah.
if people would like to honor a loved one, either in honor of or in memory of a loved one, we can put their name on a star forevermore up in our new facility. And there's small, medium, and large stars available. And so we really like to encourage people to check that out and have their loved one's name up there forevermore.
Yeah.
And I think there's other naming possibilities.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do we still have some naming opportunities?
We
You haven't had
do.
someone taking all of them?
And we need a couple more players to step up and and take those slots and help us out.
So if people are wanting to name stuff or do the Wall of Stars, things
Right.
like that, who do they contact?
Well, guess what? They can contact
Noel.
me,
Yeah.
Noel at YMCAWF.org.
Yep.
So when people see this, it's going to be probably Friday.
Yes.
And so tonight we have a media party for the media. So everyone should be seeing it and hearing it, and just get excited about it, because you know what? It is for you. If you're watching this or know someone that's participated or been touched by the YMCA in one way or the other, or will in the future. I think one thing that Dennis talks about in one of his interviews is it's not just for today's kids. It's certainly not. I mean, we're looking 30, 40, 50 years down the road. We're trying to provide for the future, and that's certainly what we're able to do. But Dennis, if you could tell the audience anything why they should give, or you want to share anything?
Brandon, the thing that excited me about this at the very beginning is that if you remember, this price tag looks big. It does. We're going to chin that bar. But instead of saying, what can we raise and go spend it, we said, okay, professional staff, get your heads together. You ought to determine what this community needs. What do our kids need? What do our seniors need? Mm-hmm. Let's work at it that way. Now, when it came back and we didn't cut corners, we said, okay, this is what we deserve and what our kids deserve. So we let what we needed set this goal, and it's a big goal, but you know what?
Right.
We're 75% there, and we think we can get there.
Yeah, I think we can get there.
Yeah.
We have so much support, and everybody I talk to, I mean, well, something's beeping at me.
That one.
Oh, well, that one's turning off. That's fine. You know, we talk to the media and stuff, and we've always told them, you know, big things are coming, big things are coming. We're going to talk about an expansion, but we don't tell them any specifics. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, we need that. We need that. We're excited about it. We have people talk about it all the time. I mean, we've done surveys, and people are like, yeah, we need to expand. Quit talking about it and just do it.
Yeah. It's time. It's time to.
It is time, and
Each
we can talk about
facility, the community deserves it. Our staff deserve it. Our volunteers deserve it, and our members deserve it. And we could talk about numbers, how many teams we have, 166 basketball teams, but it's not just about the numbers. It's about what kind of quality resources you're providing to the coaches, to the staff, and to our members to be able to do the very best job they can. And I think that's as important, if not more important, than the numbers that we talk about.
Right.
Is what are you really doing? What kind of quality are you giving, and the resources? So.
All right.
Yeah, you know, I remember Dennis talking about he and Sherry's daughter Cammie going to Austin and a YMCA there, and how nice it was. Mm-hmm. And she came back and was just, you know, gushing over all the amenities they had and what they had. And he said, "Dadgummit, we are going to have that for our kids here too. Our community deserves that too."
That's the number one point. I mean, this community deserves it, and we're no different than anyone else. And quality of life is extremely important. That's what's going to attract people to stay in town. Going to have young professionals come to town when they tour our community to see if this is a place they want to live. The YMCA ought to play a big role in saying, you know, yeah, we got something here to offer for you.
Yeah.
And so your kids can be a part of it. And for the lack of a better term, it's a one-stop shop. I mean, I don't like saying that, but it really, we want you to be able to come and mom do something, dad do something, all at the same, at the same place.
Well, you know, the sooner we can get that fundraising finished, then we can start. And the great thing is our contractors told us that we can have these new facilities finished from like a year to 14 months after we start construction.
You know, I like to talk to also, and we don't ever mention the fact that our expansion here, we're going to be adding about 50 new jobs, and a lot of these are permanent jobs. They're not part-time. Permanent jobs benefits, and that's a big deal. And I think we don't. Sometimes we overlook the economic impact we're going to have in Wichita Falls.
Huge impact. Okay, real quick, I'm going to hold this up one more
You're
time,
good.
and I want you to take a look at it. I mean, here's your existing building, and this is what we're expanding to. So
Yeah, that's a lot of expansion.
This is for Wichita Falls.
Yeah. So, any last thoughts?
Visit our website and please help us out. We need your help.
By the time everybody sees this, it'll hit the news tonight and tomorrow. So
It's public. We're going with it.
Go to the website and look at it.
Okay.
We're proud of it.
We ran a little long, but
No, you're fine.
But you know, it's exciting, and I'm sure you're going to show some pictures and stuff while this podcast is going on. But I don't know if y'all seen other podcasts, but the way we finish
Yep.
is I'm going to say ziggy, zaggy, ziggy, zaggy, and y'all have got to finish by saying oi, oi, oi.
Every time.
So here we
Go
go.
for it.
Ziggy, zaggy, ziggy, zaggy.
Oi, oi, oi.
All right. Thank y'all.